Hey everyone, Robert here, writer and producer of Chair of Swords. If you've listened to Chair of Swords before, you know that we had a complete season release and it was out for several years. Well, we decided to go back and redo it. There are several reasons for this, but the main one is that many of the actors we used are no longer recording. So instead of releasing Season 2, we decided to go back and redo Season 1. We also did this because Season 1 was one of Seven Lamb's earlier efforts. And we've learned a lot about audio dramas over the years that we want to apply to Chair of Swords now. Don't worry though, many of the episodes will be quite similar to the originals, but we are adding new jokes and scenes to spice things up. So whether this is your first time listening or you're coming back for more, there will be plenty of new stuff for you. We're releasing the first 2 remade episodes right now. We'll release the other episodes later when we figure out a reasonable schedule. Then we'll start on Season 2. So thanks for listening everyone, and we hope you enjoyed the newly remade Chair of Swords.
Seven Lamb Productions presents Chair of Swords. Episode 1. War is coming. This here is a tale of chivalry, deception, war, vigor, affairs, turmoil, and even a bit of laughter. But not too much. We need you to take this a little seriously. This tale is much like that of the Game of Thrones, minus the TNA, because this is a podcast and you can't hear tits. The story begins in the Dark Woods, an area that is not often traversed. That is, unless it is to speak to the mystical three. The 3 witches house themselves in the darkest corner, hiding among the bramble and thorns. Not many make their way through the thickets, but some who wish to know the future, just might. And this is where we begin. King Leotard is lying on his deathbed. Night, that's Night, K-N-I-G-H-T, Night, N-I-G-H-T, is on his way to see the mystical 3. Night, the bravest of the goofy named knights, was sent by the council to find exactly what the future holds.
Easy, Petunia, easy. It's okay. We'll be rid of these woods soon enough. Oh there, Petunia. We have arrived. There is the witch's hut. Stay here, Petunia.
Now, Night was a very brave fellow. It's how he became a knight with a K. He became a knight with an N because his father, Errol, Lord of Breckenridge, had bet his mother, Lady Sweet Tea, in a manner that was sure to have impregnated her. They went at it for hours and hours. It was so freaking hot. Lord Errol Knight always wanted a son, and when young Knight was born, it was Errol's wish that he become a master with the sword. Now, Night lives in Ravenfall, home to King Leotard, but King Leotard has fallen ill, and Night has been sent to the Dark Woods for an answer to the king's fate.
Witches! I command you, show yourselves!
And who so commands us, a weak warrior?
I am not weak. I once wrestled a bear and made him beg for mercy.
Did he actually beg?
I hurt him so much, he was forced to learn the king's language, just to say, please stop. I wouldn't let him tap out. I guess for him you could say it was unbearable.
Wow.
Sorry.
So what you're saying is a strong warrior is present?
This is the case.
What does he want from the witches of the Dark Woods?
First, he commands you show yourself.
So be it.
Carthalis was the eldest witch. She was grotesque, born from a man with leprosy and an actual pig. Carthalis had a squashed nose, warts down her body, and smelled like complete shit.
It is I, Carthalis, one of the witches 3.
Where are your witch sisters?
Behind you!
Back, I say.
The warrior is frightened.
Nay, I am careful.
Worried about little old Vicevic?
Vicevic, the middle sister, was equally as ugly as Carthalis. She had thin gray and mangled hair, a large hooked nose, and burned skin down the right side of her body. She too were born from a leper and pig.
No witches scare me. If that were the case, I would not have traversed such land to reach these woods. But may I ask, where is the third?
Hello.
This was Jane. She was the third and youngest sister. Jane was hot. Didn't make much sense since she too was born from a leper and pig, but third time's a charm, I guess, because she was fucking hot.
Hi, I'm Jane.
I must say, you are the fairest of the bunch.
She is not. She cheats at cards.
Only the one time.
I meant fairest looking.
What is it that brings this warrior to us?
I've come looking for an answer.
To what question?
King Leotard is in trouble. I have been sent to find what the future holds. Will the king rise again?
The warrior comes from Ravenfall.
I do.
What do the witches 3 gain from providing such an answer?
What do the witches desire? I have brought coin.
Gah! The witches don't desire your coin. What do the 3 gain from riches in the woods?
You would be hardly rich. I've come with merely $10, although I had to pay a toll near the twins, so it's more like $9 now.
Your coin is not needed.
Then what?
Yes. What do we desire?
I have an idea.
Shh, Jane. Let the eldest decide. Yes. Let Carthalis choose, for Carthalis has chosen.
And for what has Carthalis chosen?
It's been quite a time since the witches have bet a man.
Is that so?
It is.
You may have your answer, warrior, if you so desire, as long as you provide the 3 witches with their desire. The witches 3 desire the touch of a man.
But I have brungeth $9. What about the $9?
No need for your coin.
Can I, use a stick?
For what?
For touching you, so I don't need to get too close.
No, that won't suffice.
I'm afraid I do not have it in me to bet all 3.
But you will bet one. Fine. Who shall you choose?
The 3 sisters lined up before Night.
Jane. Definitely Jane. I'll fuck Jane. Jane's the one I choose.
And what do Carthalis and Vicevic get from such an arrangement?
Not sure I really care.
We must partake in some way, warrior.
May we watch and pleasure ourselves?
This may make the knight's manhood soft. No, for sure it will make mine manhood soft.
What if we do it from further away?
As long as I may not see nor hear thee, sure, whatever.
For it will be certain.
By the gods, I very much hope so.
So, Night slept with Jane, while the other sisters watched from behind a far rock and pleasured themselves. After they finished, the witches invited Night into their hut, where they gathered around a glowing purple orb.
Dark soul, appear.
Yes, dark soul, grace us with your presence.
The dark soul has arrived.
Dark soul, a warrior is here. He begs to know what's to come of King Leotard. Yes? Yes. Yes.
What does the orb say?
King Leotard will succumb.
He is on his deathbed, warrior.
He's got like maybe 2 days, tops.
This cannot be.
But it is. King Leotard will fall.
And what of Nymeria?
Nymeria will see war.
For those of you who do not know, which is all of you because this is brand new information, King Leotard may live in Ravenfall, but he is not king of only Ravenfall. King Leotard is king of all of Nymeria. The mountains in the north, the seas to the west, the grasslands to the east, and the tundra to the south. All of Nymeria was gained when King Leotard took down Goraneth, also known as the Dragon Man.
Many have tried to usurp King Leotard. None have succeeded.
None will need to usurp the king now, for he will fall, and many will come to gain the throne.
You mean the chair. The chair of swords.
The Chair of Swords was fashioned many a year ago by weapons of all thine enemies of Goraneth. It was built so that Goraneth could sit on the weapons that were taken from his fallen enemies, as if to say, "Take that! I am so much better than you."
Who then? Who will win the chair of swords?
Many will fight for it. Lord Ferris of the Coal Islands, King Julian from the Field of Dreams, the Hunter of the Wall, King Phillips from Summer Rise.
Among others.
All will fight for the chair of swords. War is coming. Prepare yourself, warrior.
Night was frightened by such news. He quickly ran from the hut, climbed aboard his steed, and headed straight for Ravenfall. Night rode across the land as fast as his steed could bear. But his steed couldn't bear because his steed wasn't a bear, it was a horse. Steed means horse in Nymeria. Night made it to Ravenfall just as the sun was setting over Mammoth Mountains.
We have arrived, Petunia. You have done well, steed. I shall reward you with hay and oats as soon as the council gets the horrible news. I have made it back from the dark woods.
Wait. You cannot enter the council at this time.
Big Thumb, they wanted word.
Yes, but they're in session. You must wait.
Big Thumb was a nickname given to Orus Tide, a big man with big hands but bigger thumbs. Big Thumb was master of coin. Many thought the mischievous fat man to be quite cheap, and he was often caught messing with Ravenfall's funds. Although the council seemed to know many misdeeds were going on, they let Big Thumb keep his job, which may be due to the fact that Big Thumb was known to be cunning and often talked himself out of such trouble. He was so cunning he once stole a horse, killed the horse, ate the horse, shit out enough shit to sculpt the horse, then sold the shit horse to the person he initially stole the real horse from. He claimed it was a real horse, and while everyone knew it was a pile of shit, literally, he was still able to make a couple $100. But that was Big Thumb, a man who could eat a whole horse and was completely full of shit.
Big Thumb, I must enter.
Patience, lad.
Word must be spoken.
In due time. This is not easy on anyone, regardless of your news, be it good or bad, maybe 50-50, although someone either dies or they don't, so odds of it being split is quite improbable.
What are you going on about?
Sorry, I'll fetch you when the council's finished.
Fine. Oh, and by the way, $9 was not enough for the witches. I told you they would demand more.
I gave you 10.
I had to pay a toll, and $10 wouldn't have worked either, you cheapskate. Let me know when they're ready.
Night was frustrated. News of King Leotard was urgent. How could he stand by and wait? But he did. Night made his way to the castle, to the king's chambers.
Night. You have returned.
Queen Arietta was elegant, but at times frightening. She had a cold interior, but often hid it under a radiant glow. Her daughter, Princess Espoda, was much like her, but younger and not as cold. Queen Arietta, Princess Espoda, and the king's aide Jorgis Hines sat around the king's bed. The king lay unmoving.
Have you brought word?
I've brought enough words to make an entire sentence. The witches have told me the king's fate. But before we get to that, how is he?
How is he? He has a sword in his eye. He doesn't have much more time. It's what I've been telling everyone. I don't know why the council sent you to the Dark Woods for an answer I've been given since he first took the sword to the eye.
But I know of his fate.
Yeah, so do I. He has a sword that has gone through his head. He will die. I'm most certain. Can you not see, Knight, Queen, Princess? He has a sword in his face. It sticks out the back of his head.
So, will father not rise again?
No. It is as I have said. He will die.
But you are only a lowly aide.
I have practiced medicine.
But what does your medicine training tell you of swords in people's heads?
It tells me that they die.
That's what medicine training tells you?
That's what common sense tells me. It is not often that one can sustain an injury such as a sword going through one's head and yet rise and prance about days later.
My father does not prance.
Nor will he ever, for he shall perish.
The witches have given the king 2 days.
I give him another 20 minutes. The fact that he's still alive is quite astonishing, but he will not last much longer.
But father is strong.
That may be so, but he still has a sword through his head. So...
You mock him.
I do nothing of the kind.
King Leotard is a brave man who has fallen like a hero.
He slipped on a banana peel and fell on his own sword.
A common occurrence.
Never happened before. Even a jester has not performed such buffoonery.
Enough. I will not hear you talk ill of a man lying on his deathbed. And not just any man, but the King of Nymeria.
I understand, Queen Arietta. I shall halt my words.
It was at this moment when the room fell silent. Night looked over to Princess Espoda with her rosy cheeks and busty bosom and ass that could not quit even if he cut its pay and took away its benefits, including dental. Her sandy robe glided along the floor as she made her way to her father's bedside. She held his hand, but did not take her eyes off the handsome knight.
Even if the king's aide believes travel to the Dark Woods were necessary, thank you for making such a long and treacherous trip, Sir Knight.
Of course. Anything for the king.
You are very loyal.
Unlike these hoes.
The hoes are never loyal.
Princess Espoda smiled ever so slightly, and Night returned her cute gesture with a thrust of his crotchal region. Hind and Queen Arietta may not have noticed, but the air was thick with love between the princess and Night. Sadly, their love could never be, because she was royalty and he was not. Princess Espoda would need to be wedded to a prince. That was the king and queen's wish.
Knight?
Yes, Big Thumb.
The council will see you now.
Knight entered the large council room and stood in front of the Council of Eight. The speaker, an elderly man named Anton Kilso, stood and addressed Sir Knight.
So, Knight, what word do you bring from the Dark Woods? Good news? And bad? If that is the case, we shall receive the good news first.
No, I am sorry. I only come with bad news.
We would be pleased if Sir Knight would present us with good news first, to lighten the mood.
But I have none.
Anything?
No.
Oh, you must know something that is good.
I really do not.
Please, we need good news. Any good news will suffice.
Oh, of course, if it would please the council.
It would.
The good news I present the council is my blister that I had on my biggest toe has finally disappeared.
And what has happened to said blister?
I do not know, it just has gone away.
Did you use a cream?
No cream.
Wow. Well, that is good news. We here at the council are very pleased with your recovery. Now, for the bad news. Although we were kind of hoping the good news was about the king.
I told you I didn't have good news.
I don't know. The toe thing is nice.
Yeah, I'm happy about it.
Well, night. What is the bad news?
Yes. Well, I met with the witches, although apparently the king's aide, Jorgis Hind, also knew of the king's fate.
Witches?
The king will fall.
Is that so?
I am afraid it is.
How long do we have?
The witches say no more than 2 days. Hind says about 20 minutes.
Then we are surely fucked.
Kilso, if the king can maybe last a day,
He is dead! The king is dead!
Well, shit. Jorgis Hind appeared in the doorway of the council. He walked up to stand next to Night.
The king has been pronounced dead.
Are you for certain?
It cannot be.
Of course it can. He had a sword in his face. I have been telling you he shall not live. Yet you send Night on a day's ride to the dark woods to meet with 2 ugly witches and 1 pretty one.
I should be more upset, but I got to lay with the pretty one.
Quite lucky you are.
Tell me about it.
Do you know what this means?
Anton Kilso rubbed his temple and slid into his seat. His knees were weak, his hands shaky.
We will be without a king! The royal army will cede! Everyone will fight to claim the chair! War will claim Nymeria! Death! I foresee much death!
What shall the council do?
What can we do? Wait to see who will claim the chair of swords.
Chair of Swords. Written and edited by Robert M. Lamb. Starring Brian Messick as the narrator, Robert M. Lamb as Night, Vicevik, and Barrett, Gina Coyle as Queen Arietta, Amber Simpson as Princess Espoda, Zane Sexton as Hind, Amy LeRae as Jane, Alexander Dottie as Kilso, and Jack Austin as Big Thumb. Music provided by Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com. If you enjoy this podcast, don't forget to rate and review. And visit 7lamb.com for more audio dramas such as this one. This has been a 7 Lamb production.